Every month there is a ton of mobile games that come out. gameranx sorts through the best ones. Hi folks, it's Falcon. Here's the 15 best new and free iOS and Android games of October 2018. Number 15 is Packo Forever, a car chase simulator that is from a top-down perspective. It's got simple graphics with great colors that keep you in the know as to what's going on at all times. I never felt confused by what's going on the screen, and controls are fun, simple, and satisfying. The idea, of course, is to simply stay alive as long as possible, and there are a lot of fun obstacles as well as cool cars to get. It's got a really satisfying loop, and I would give it a shot. It's free, it's on both iOS and Android, and I think you'll enjoy it. Number 14 is Marenian Tavern Story, which revolves around finding ingredients to build a thriving tavern. That means wandering around, doing battle, fishing, searching, foraging, milking cows, all in hopes that you can create the best food dishes and drinks to put your tavern on the map. It's actually a fairly unique RPG and quite a bit of fun. It manages to be a different story from saving the world and even a bit more of a normal person type thing without being boring. I had a lot of fun with it. It's $7.99 and it's out right now on both iOS and Android. Number 13 is F1 Mobile Racing, which has a pretty self-explanatory name. It's an F1 racing game that is on your mobile phone. Essentially, the point is to develop an F1 car from the ground up. You can play from official teams, but really, why wouldn't you want to build the car? That seems like a much more satisfying thing to do in such a game. It's got beautiful graphics. The controls are as you might expect them on a mobile racing game, but they're tight and they work quite well. And the real-time PvP 1v1 not only works well, but is a lot of fun. It is currently only on iOS. It is coming to Android though, and it's free, so pick it up. Number 12 is Monkeynauts, which is more or less kind of a clicker, but kind of also a breeding simulation and sort of a space monkey community building exercise. It's not exactly super easy to categorize, but it's pretty easy to play. It's, I would say, pretty casual, and it's cute as hell. I wouldn't come to this game for a massive amount of depth. It is, like I said, a casual game, but it is fun, and I had a good time with it. Monkeynauts is free on both iOS and Android. Number 11 is Super Cat Tales 2, a platformer that is, let's just go ahead and say this, more than competent. It is a homage to a lot of different platformers, including Mega Man as well as Super Mario World. You can see it in the art style too, manifestations of both of those games, as well as a few others. It controls great, feels very responsive, has got a lot of different types of gameplay in the game without roaming too far from what it's trying to do, and it's fantastic. It's also free on iOS and Android. I'd give it a shot if you like platformers, which I really do. This was among my favorites of the month. Number 10 is Badland Brawl, a game that basically combines Clash Royale with Angry Birds. If that's a description that doesn't make sense, I think the footage pretty much makes that description make sense. It's exactly what you think, and it is actually really fun. It's easy to play. There's different classes of characters to basically fling at your opponent, and these games are a lot of fun to go through. They have the satisfaction of both the games that I mentioned, and there's not a lot more to say. You understand it at this point, and it's fun as hell. It's also completely free on iOS and Android, so check it out at very least. Number 9 is Piffle, a block shooting game that brings us a very, very cute aesthetic with some great music that's a lot of fun. It's addicting, it's physics-based, it's a puzzle game, but it's also very action-packed and quickly paced. Pretty much everything about what this game presents to you makes the gameplay more fun because it's visually engaging and never seems too static, which is great. Number 8 is Reigns Game of Thrones, which is a version of Reigns, the swipe game that is actually really engaging and fun, also at times quite funny, that simply does it with Game of Thrones. If you understand the game, it's kind of like Tinder, but running a kingdom, and I don't know how else to describe it because it seems like that's what it is to me. It's actually a lot of fun. It really works well. You get a lot of interesting story, a lot of interesting happenings, and to bring it into the Game of Thrones world really works because it's not that far off from what Reigns actually typically is, so it's worth the $3.99 in my opinion. It is $3.99, like I said, and out on iOS and Android alike. Number 7 is Dizzy Knight, a game where you control a knight with a big ol' sword who is spinning around in circles endlessly. It in some ways resembles Legend of Zelda, but I would say it's more aesthetically because the gameplay is really oriented around swinging a sword around, running around in a circle. You can't stop, and why would you? Because it's fun as hell. There's 40 stages, it's got replay value, it's quite a bit of fun. It's free, it's out on iOS and Android, and I would at least give it a shot because I enjoyed the hell out of it. Number 6 is Grimvalor, a hack and slash game. And when I say hack and slash, I mean of the Castlevania variety. It is a lot like Castlevania, albeit with a lot more detail. It takes place in a 3D plane, although it is a 2D game that plays like Castlevania, and in every way, that's great. I don't have anything really a lot else to say other than you should play it because every single thing I just said. It's $6.99. And at the moment, it's only out on iOS. Number 5 is Old School RuneScape, which is Old School RuneScape. If you've ever played RuneScape, it is the old version of RuneScape, the old school MMORPG that everybody used to play at one point. It's free to play, but you can get a subscription that brings you a few advantages over the free players, but honestly, you don't need to. It's RuneScape. Just do the RuneScape. It's free on iOS and Android. Number 4 is Monster Hunter Stories, the HD port of the 3DS game. It is just in every way a fun game. I enjoy Monster Hunter Stories. It's a good, more traditional JRPG style Monster Hunter oriented game. It's just a lot of fun. It's a fun game. It's a little more kid friendly and it's more traditional, like I said, with turn-based graphics. It's free to try, but the full game is $19.99, so it is a bit pricey, but it's a great game. I really enjoy Monster Hunter Stories. It is out, like I said, on both iOS and Android, so check it out. Number 3, Prince of Persia Escape. Now, it's not an exact port of the old school Prince of Persia. It does look a lot like it, but that's mainly an aesthetic. It is a hop and run game. It is actually a lot of fun. I know that some people who are expecting it to be the oldest Prince of Persia, but remade with polygons, will probably be disappointed, but at the same time, it's actually a lot of fun, and I think that people will enjoy it. It's free on iOS and Android. Give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. Number 2 is Stardew Valley. If you've ever played Harvest Moon on the Super Nintendo and thought this could be a little bit more like Terraria, which happened more than a decade later, that's Stardew Valley. Basically, Harvest Moon in a post-Minecraft world. And it works really well. It's a really good loop. It's a lot of fun. There's so much that you can do in Stardew Valley that nobody would have even thought of in the 1990s, and I just frankly really enjoy the hell out of the game. It's available on iOS for $7.99, and it's one that I would recommend. Finally, number 1 is Dragalia Lost, which is a swipe controlled action RPG, and yes, it plays exactly how you think it would, and yes, it was developed by Nintendo, and yes, it's fun as hell. It's bright, it's colorful, it's fun, it's well paced, more importantly, and I've wasted some time on this one. I'm gonna keep wasting some time on this one. I really enjoy the hell out of it. It's free for both iOS and Android. Couple of bonus games for you: Hordes of Enemies on iOS, which is a pixel art game in which you have to furiously, mindlessly, endlessly destroy hordes of various enemies. That means with swords, means with martial arts. It's a lot of fun, give it a shot. And finally, NBA 2K19. The full experience comes to iOS and Android. It is not as great looking as on other platforms, but considering what it is, it looks pretty great and it plays like NBA 2K19. What iOS and Android games did you play this month? Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. And if you like this video, please click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, so click that subscribe button and do not forget to click the notification bell. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at FalconTheHero. We'll see you next time, right here on gameranx.